Hello everybody, welcome back to the Loyal Maverick channel. I'm Sarita, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I want to do a video about how I found God, and basically my journey finding God and really believing in Him for myself, or not because of the people around me and things that I was told or taught, but really because of my own personal experience that ultimately built my faith and allowed me to know that God is real. So I grew up in the church with my grandmother. She was a usher. She was on the usher board. She was always in church every single Sunday. And so I always grew up in church. I grew up in a Baptist church. And so all I knew is, the Ten Commandments, what not to do. I thought that, if you didn't shout or if you didn't speak in tongues, that you weren't fully, holy or things like that. And so as I was, going to church and things like that, I would go and just listen. It would kind of just go in one ear and out the other. And I didn't really know God for myself, and so as time went on, I eventually got baptized. And I was really young. I think I was like 6 years old when I got baptized, and it was because I wanted to drink the juice and eat the crackers. So, I was so young, and I was just like, I want some too, and my grandma allowed me to get baptized. And so being that young, my grandma stayed talking about God, but it was never really something on my mind because at the time, I didn't know that I needed Him. Of course, I'm like 7, 8 years old. And so my real personal journey started, in middle school. That was just my background of where I come from and, what I was raised to believe and things like that, and what environment I was in as I was growing up as a child. But my experience started when I was in middle school. So when I was in middle school, I struggled with a lot of like, wanting acceptance, a lot of, peer pressure. I got teased a lot from a very young age, even when I was like in, first grade and stuff like that. And I didn't have lots of friends, and I used to envy people that did, but at the same time I was kind of like socially awkward. So that was a struggle for me. I just wanted to be accepted and I wanted to feel loved. I remember that vividly. That's something that I just wanted to have. I wanted to have that feeling. And I think a part of the reason that I was struggling with that acceptance is because I didn't have my biological parents in my life, like really, really there. My dad would come around every blue moon if he wasn't in jail. And then my mom, my biological mom, she barely ever came around. Like I think I would see her maybe every 3 years or something like that, And so maybe I feel like I was looking for that acceptance from somebody because I feel like I was rejected by them. I'm just thinking right now as I'm doing this video, the roots of those issues, where they may have come from. So when I was growing up, I kind of had like an old soul. I knew I was different, simply because a lot of the things that people were doing around me that was getting them that acceptance and stuff like that, and like getting them friends and stuff, I didn't want to do those things. I didn't like to do those things. I was always a little more mature than the people around me, which also, was one of the causes of me not having friends a lot, because while people are, thinking about other stuff, I'm thinking about how I'm going to make some money. I'm thinking about just wise, because I was going through a lot as a child, just a little ahead of my time, I guess. I don't want to say wise because I feel like you're not supposed to really call yourself wise, but I was just a little ahead of my time. So one thing that I remember is that I wanted to be like my cousin, like not wanted to be like her, but I wanted to have the things that she had because it seemed like it was good, like fun. So like she had all the friends, she had all the clothes, she had all the shoes, like she had everything. She just had everything, And I was like, oh, I want friends like that. I want to be like that. She had a lot of acceptance. Like everybody knew her. She was very popular. She was very outgoing. All the things that I wanted to be when I was growing up. And so like growing up, she was kind of like the only person that I was around. Like I didn't really know my brothers and sisters like that. We kind of grew up as if we were sisters. Like we were around each other the most out of all the siblings that I had. And so she was kind of like a sister, like a big sister or whatever. So of course I'm going to look up to her in some type of way. So she knew I was looking up to her. And, you know, when you're young, you get annoyed and stuff like that. Kind of like the big little sister type of thing, you know, like, oh, why you always want to be around me? Why you always getting what I get? Like, why you always, you know, trying to do what I do? So, you know, as time went on, I ended up like living with her for a while. And then when I was living with her, you know, I was seeing all the stuff she was doing, you know, all the fun she was having. And I was just like, I want to do this. Like, I want to feel what I see you go through, what I see you do. When I see your friends happy to see you, they hugging you, they want you to come over. What are you doing that makes them have that type of reaction to you, that makes them like you like that? So I ended up, you know, going out with my cousin one day. Like, she finally let me come and hang out with her. So I was so excited. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm finally with her and I'm doing all these things, you know, I'm trying things with her that I never, you know, tried before, just to get that acceptance, just to feel that love, and just that void that was like, you know, not filled in my life, you know, that acceptance void. And when I started to do those things with her, I would always have in the back of my mind the stuff that I did learn in church, like as I got older. Because even though I grew up with my grandma, going to church with her, when I got older, me and my best friend, we would go to church pretty much every Sunday because we would always be together for the weekend. So we had to go to church. You know, we had to if we was over our other friend's house. So as I began to like continue to go to church and everything with my best friend, I started to listen to what they were saying, and I started doing what they said do. So they were like, just pray about it and it'll be all right. It was always like just positive things, like, oh yeah, if you worried, that's a problem. If you feeling this way, just call on the Lord and he'll be right there. Da, 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 da. Like, it was all like kind of like selling hope in a way, you know, that makes you feel like nothing negative is going to happen in your life if you pray. That was what I was thinking. That was kind of the idea that the church that I was in at the time was giving me, which later on down the line, I learned that was a very unhealthy and unrealistic way of teaching somebody about, you know, God and about how walking with God really is. It was nothing like they had taught me. But that's later down the line when I find that out and life just starts to kick my butt. So as time went on, I was doing those things, but I still like felt depressed. I didn't feel accepted. I just kind of felt like a burden, or I felt like she was just doing that just to, you know, just so I wouldn't tell on her, or just so I could, you know, just be around and hang out, I guess. I don't know why she was doing it, but I just didn't feel it. Like, I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I would feel like this burning, like something was burning in my chest right here. It was like fire. It was always like right here. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a chakra or something. I don't know. Some people believe in that stuff. I ain't gonna say I don't believe in it. I've never like, you know, dived, you know, more into it or anything, but it was always right here. When I knew something wasn't right, when I knew something was like wrong, I would just feel it right here. And so at this point, when I got frustrated because I was still feeling that way, you know, like depressed, you know, not accepted, not loved, like just lacking, that there was just some void, and I just never felt satisfied. I never felt like at ease or just happy, to be quite frank. So, you know, at that point, I just really began to get very frustrated at God. I was so angry. I had never been this angry at God before in my life. At the time, I was in middle school when this feeling came. I'll never forget, I was living in the woods. That was on, what is that, 38th and Kessler, I think, 38th and Kessler at the Woods. I wasn't at Broad Ripple yet. I was at some other school. I was just getting into middle school. I can't remember the name of it, but my friend Nikki, she would definitely be able to give me the name. But that don't matter. So one day I just woke up and I was just like, all right, God, they tell me at church that you hear me. They tell me that if I call on your name that you'll be there. They tell me if I pray that everything is going to be okay and that I'm not going to have to worry about anything. So I started to do that. So I started to pray and do all the stuff that they told me to do in church. And so I think about a month went by and I'm just like, God, you said in your word, like I even started reading my Bible and everything. I'm like, Lord, not like a lot, but like, you know, where I would point out scriptures where it's like, okay, it say this, so if I do this, then this is going to happen. I'm like, okay, God, you said you're going to do this, but you haven't done it. And so I just got so frustrated to the point where I just went into this very, very dark place. I started to lose my faith and like belief in God. And I just got into this like really dark space and began to do things that just I'm not very proud of, and that I'm kind of embarrassed to even talk about, to go into details about that, because like even when I think about what I did, it brings chills to me right now. And the effect that it had on me was just very, very scary. And I just never want to be in that place again, and I never will be in that place again because of the experience that I had when I went through what I went through. I was frustrated because it seemed like everything that the church, was telling me not to do was the thing, or the things that was getting the people the acceptance, that I felt like I needed, or that I felt like I was missing, that I wanted. I just I prayed that one final I just prayed that one final prayer one day, where I was just like crying out to God, desperate, like, Lord, heal me. Like, Lord, help me to not feel this way. Help me to, feel love and accepted. Make people accept and love me. Like, heal my parents, and please have them come back into my life and be together, or not together, but to just be there for me and help me just build my confidence. Like, I was praying all of these things at a very, very young age. And I was like hopeful, like, okay, God, I'm desperate right now. I'm crying to you, like, I'm here. And it just didn't, nothing felt like it happened, I guess I was like wanting that instant gratification of like, oh, I prayed this, so tomorrow or next week I'm gonna feel all of these things that I want to feel. And so, after praying that prayer and not feeling anything, I just felt like nobody cared for me. Not God, not people, not anybody. Because I just was feeling pain. I was hurt. I was so heartbroken just by the things in my life, like the things that I didn't deal with or wasn't dealing with at the time, that a lot of people just kind of overlooked, or it felt like wasn't very important. So it was a rough time for me. And after I went into that dark place and kind of prayed some dark things, it got really worse. I started to feel really weird. I started to feel really dark because I was praying to a dark place. And while I was in this dark place, I started to do all the things that was getting people acceptance and getting people, what I felt like was love. And the final straw for me in this dark space was when I almost went to jail. And so when I went through that experience, I finally realized that this life is not for me. Like, no matter how hard I try to, pretend like this is who I am, who I want to be, this is what I want to feel. If this is what I got to go through, and these are the things that I got to endure to get this acceptance, I don't want it. When I finally realized what was on the other side, and that the grass wasn't greener, but that those people that were getting those things that I thought I wanted was operating from a place of hurt and pain just to get that acceptance. But I was in a place in my life for some reason where going those lengths were not worth it to me for that feeling that I thought I was getting. And when I was doing those things, like I said, I really wasn't feeling those things that I thought I was going to feel. I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong where I was. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the wrong thing. Like, I couldn't even like really bring myself to really do all the stuff that they were doing, and they were noticing it too. So it was like, oh, you lame. And I hated that word. I didn't want to be lame. I didn't want to feel lame. So I was just doing these things, like I said, to be accepted. So at this point in this dark space, when I almost, went to jail and everything, and when I started to have these like weird dreams and just feeling really weird and dark, I had the most supernatural spiritual experience that I ever experienced in my life. I mean, I just began to cry out to God. Like, I've never cried out to God like this before, y'all. And it was just an experience that is just kind of, I can't fully explain it, but I'm going to do my best. So I just started to pray. I started to cry. I started to ask God to forgive me for the dark things that I was like doing at the time. And, you know, told him that I will only serve him. I will only pray to him. I will never put anyone or anything before him. Like, it was deep, y'all. It was really deep. And I mean, crying for hours. Like, I think I cried for about a good 2 hours because I don't know, it just, something just hit me. And I was just like, this ain't right. It don't feel right. It ain't right. And I need to do something about this. And ever since then, you know, that's pretty much where my journey started. Like, how I began to really believe in God for myself, because that supernatural experience. And that's why, you know, I don't condone people who are atheists, but that's why I understand where they come from. Because if you haven't felt it, you're going to have like a hint of like resentment or a hint of like, you know, disbelief, because you don't know that feeling. But it's a supernatural feeling. Nobody can teach it to you. Nobody can like show it to you. I mean, you might see somebody go through something or see them shout or something, but when you experience that supernatural spiritual experience, it's a whole nother ball game. And that is truly God like using you and like working through you and showing you that he's real. And not only did I have that, you know, supernatural experience, when I had that experience and, you know, God seeing that I was, you know, trying to, you know, remove myself from all that negative stuff that I thought I wanted that was not of him, he even allowed me to get some tangible things that I wanted before, that I was trying to, you know, like get, like, for example, like, I went to the mall and with my cousin, and we were stealing stuff, you know, stealing shirts and stuff like that. Everything that I stole, y'all, it got stolen from me. I don't know how it ended up. I don't know how it ended up coming up missing, but somebody stole it from me and it just came up missing. But then as time went on, like, when I was like not doing all those negative things, I found a $10 bill on the ground. Somebody would give me some money for something. Somebody would give me a new outfit. It was just always something that, you know, God was like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. And though it wasn't like a every single day type of thing, it helped me build my faith up even as a youngin', because it was just, I felt like God showing me that, like, hey, I'm here for you. Here's something tangible to show you that, hey, you don't have clothes right now, or you don't have a lot of shoes. You don't have what she has, but I'm giving this to you because you prayed and I heard you. But I do things on my time and on time and not your time, you know? And so after that experience, I was just like really grateful. And it just really made me trust God more. It made me, you know, get into my word more. It made me want to know more about God and, you know, learn him for myself, and just, you know, figure out what I wanted to do with my faith and what I wanted to do moving forward. And moving forward, I still to this day, you know, I'm still not like fully like accepted, and I don't care, you know, like stuff like that. I just don't care about anymore. I've matured, you know, I've grown. So like I don't really care about those things anymore. And I don't fit in. I don't go to the club. Even still, like the average 24-year-old should be out partying, should be, you know, out here having sex with everybody, should be out here doing drugs, should be pregnant with kids. I'm none of those things. So, you know, I'm just a unicorn, I guess. And, you know, I'm special. I know I'm special because God says so. And I really feel that in my heart. And I'm just simply set apart, you know. I'm set apart. And that's okay. And I feel like that's more special than being like everybody else. And I want to encourage you, if you're young, you feel like you're an old soul, you feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like you're introverted or something, and you just don't feel accepted, and you have a void. I just want to encourage you to just turn to God and know that he loves you, that he's there for you, and that you don't need anything in this world but him and his love and the community that he provides for you. Don't go out here looking for just anybody to be around, any community. Build a community of believers, build a community of like-minded people who are going to spur you on, who are going to, you know, make you a better person, who are going to help you grow. You do not want to be around people who are going to just keep you stagnant, who are going to be a crutch to you and, you know, enable your negative things about you, like enable you of being lazy. Y'all both sitting there watching TV, not doing nothing with your life, or y'all both complaining about something, but y'all not working for a solution for whatever it is that you're trying to do or accomplish. That's just, you know, what I'm working on right now, you know, building my tribe, as they call it, and just you know, surrounding myself with people who can lift me up, who can hold me accountable, you know, when I'm not doing right, you know, and just be there for me spiritually. And even as just like a friend, you know, these are friends, these are real friendships. I don't say these are my church friends and these are my friends. No, these are my friends because this is my lifestyle. This is who I am. So, yeah, guys, I hope this video was encouraging to you. I hope it was helpful. It was really tough for me to like make this video because it's a lot of personal things that, you know, kind of hit my pride a little bit that I don't really like to admit. But God really put it, like, as y'all can see, I'm in pajamas right now. Like, I was like, God, I do not want to do this video. I don't want nobody knowing my business. I don't want nobody knowing my weaknesses. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I need to do it now because I know I'm not finna get up and do all this makeup and put all this stuff on. I hate makeup, y'all. I hate it. Um, so I just, you know, got up and was like, you know what, let me go ahead and do this. And just, you know, I prayed before I did this and asked God to really just give me the words to say and just to bless whoever's watching this. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Please leave a comment down below if you have any questions, concerns, or just questions about my journey. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up for me. Share it with somebody who you think it will encourage. And I will see you guys later. Bye.